What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog coming to you with a FNM Singleton list. And this one we're taking a look at Izzet Prowess. We got lots of new toys in Core 21 that involve around the Prowess triggers and ways to enable Prowess. And we've had some existing spells that work amazing with that as well. So this is gonna be my first Singleton list for the new core set. Hopefully the FNM continues and we continue playing around with formats like Singleton, Pauper, Artisan, etc. because those are super fun to play. Even if it is just on a semi-regular basis, it's really fun to kind of brew around those different ideas and kind of get away from the usual standard environment for a little bit. Alright, so in this particular list, these are all the Singleton cards I'm running. Obviously I'm recording this before the event, so we're just going to kind of run it into some regular best of one play queues, so we're going to be a little bit of a disadvantage in that regard, but you know, we still have plenty of good cards here, so it's not going to be shouldn't be too bad. All right, so what we're looking at here is Opt, of course, is auto include here in Singleton. You know, easy way to trigger Prowess and continue digging for spells. Terramander, of course, works really well with lots of spells because you can adapt it, and it costs one less for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard to adapt, and so you can do this in your 5/5 quite easily. Spectral Sailor, just a powerful one-drop on its own. Flash flying, and once you get to the mid-late game, you can pay 4 to draw cards. Stern Dismissal, Unsummon, you know, we're in Singleton, so we kind of need to run both of these for a little bit of tempo on our opponent's side. Unsummon is nice because you can target your own creatures to protect them from removal. And then Stern Dismissal also has the upside of hitting enchantments on your opponent's side, so you know, Heliod's and Thassa's, things like that. We also have Crash Through, which is a new card from M21, which is, of course, an existing card in Historic. But it's fantastic having this back in Standard as well. Works fantastic. Trample, draw a card, just one mana, triggering Prowess. It's fantastic. Godwin Banneret is our one drop here on the red side. It's a 1/1 for 1 and has Mentor. You can pay 1 in red to give it +2/+0 until end of turn. So it's not super amazing, but I think it's a little bit better in a Singleton environment than, say, like a Fervent Champion, the 1/1 first striker. If you're in like a Knights build, then that makes sense. But just as a one-of, it's pretty medium when it's a one-of. Where it really shines is where you can have multiples out, and you can give each of those Knights that +1 boost with the first strike. That's what really works. So I think our bet here is the Goblin Banneret. You know, you can mentor one of your Prowess creatures, and then cast a spell afterwards once it's got the counter on it, and then give it the Prowess boost as well. So lots of interesting things you can do with the Banneret. And the Infuriate, of course, works really well. 3/3/2, 1 mana instant speed. Shock is just a nice, solid, all-around card. Callous Dismissal, returning any non-land permanent to our opponent's hand and making a 1/1 token behind the kind of chump block for you while you're attacking in with all your Prowess creatures. Jeskai Elder is another one of our new cards here for M21. This is a card I've been super impressed by. If you saw my Izzet Prowess list, obviously I was talking about how pleased I was with this card there. This card is definitely going to see a ton of play in Standard, and just the fact that it's a May ability to draw and discard is where I think this card really shines. Keep Safe, another way to kind of protect our creatures or even some of our Planeswalkers, as a counter target spell that targets a permanent you control and draw a card. That's just pretty fantastic spell there. Lazotep Plating, another way to protect our permanents. You and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. So if your opponent is trying to burn you out with some kind of a big spell, you can just Lazotep Plating and say, no, you can't target me. And of course, also Amasses 1, so a nice jump blocker behind. Negate, just kind of another nice all-around spell here, countering removal or Planeswalkers or anything like that. Omen of the Sea, just kind of a nice card draw. It is an enchantment, so it doesn't work with the instant and sorcery side of things, but we do have plenty of ways to trigger non-creature spells. Like Prowess is triggers for any non-creature, so it does include enchantments. But there are things like the Terramander that only care about instant and sorceries in particular. But overall, I think Omen of the Sea is still a fantastic inclusion. Just the fact that you can scry and draw. Because a lot of times with these kind of spell-based decks is you really just need to kind of find the right spell at the right time, and that's really kind of the key more than just straight drawing cards. I think Omen of the Sea is just a little bit better in that way. And Riddleform is another enchantment, so that's going to trigger your Prowess And also, anytime you cast a non-creature spell, you can have it turn into a 3/3 flyer. And it's got this built-in ability where you can pay 3 to scry 1. So it's a nice little mana sink here in the mid to late game to kind of dig for just the right spell that you need. Just talking about how scrying is important, just the card selection. Because once you get to a certain mana, you don't really need more lands, and you definitely want to scry those away. And just having the right spell at the right time is really the key to these kind of lists. Burning Prophet is another great way to do this. It's a 1/3 for 2. Whenever we cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and we scry 1. So both just really great triggered abilities here. And of course, the old favorite here, Dreadhorde Arcanist. It's a 1/3 with Trample for 2 mana. And whenever it attacks, you can cast an instant or sorcery with mana cost equal to or less than its power from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. So we have plenty of 1-drop spells that we can get back with this. We can unsummon our opponent's creature, go to combat, attack with the Arcanist, cast Unsummon again for free, and bounce the second creature. So that's pretty amazing. Just lots of fun things you can do with this. And of course, things like Infuriate that kind of pump up its power. It's pretty sweet. The only thing that's really missing is like Prowess. That would just make it just stupid busted. Fire Prophecy is another really fantastic inclusion in this kind of a list. 2 mana instant speed, being able to deal 3 damage to your target creature, and put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library to draw a card. So again, we don't really need a lot of lands. We're in a Singleton format, so if there's a spell that doesn't really line up with what your opponent is doing, or if you have some kind of redundancies, maybe you have a Unsummon and a Stern Dismissal, and you only need like maybe one of those, you can just put one of those at the bottom of your library and just keep digging for more cards. We also have, Heartfire Immolator. I'm not really too sure about this card. It is a 2/2 with Prowess, something that makes it worth looking at. It does have an interesting active ability. We can pay red to sacrifice it and have it deal damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker. So Prowess is going to get pretty big, 3, 4, maybe 5, depending on your situation. And then you can sack it to have it deal that much damage to a creature or planeswalker. I mean, the fact that you can hit planeswalkers too is pretty interesting. If it were any target, this card would be like really good. But it's limited to creature and planeswalkers. It's pretty medium, and of course doesn't really have any sort of invasion. But just a 2/2 with Prowess for 2 mana is pretty reasonable. If you're able to tempo your opponent out with the unsummons, the shocks, and things like that, and just have a clear board and just get a bunch of Prowess triggers, that might just be good enough on its own. So I think it's pretty interesting. I didn't make my standard list because I think there's just better 2-drops. But since we're in a Singleton environment, I think it's worth taking a look at here. We have Lava Coil, of course, just nice removal. Raking Claws. Kind of talk about this in my Izzet Prowess list. It's a 2 mana instant speed to give a creature double strike until end of turn, and it's nice that you can kind of double strike it. Cycle it. Wow, so I doubled up on the double strikes. You can cycle this away if it doesn't seem relevant, or you just need to dig for something else, like maybe you're missing a land drop, or maybe your opponent just wiped out your creatures, or you had to mulligan and you kept a sketchy hand, then you can just cycle this away to kind of draw something else if you aren't drawn into the creatures that you need, or whatever the case may be. So just kind of a nice flexible card, and with all the Prowess triggers you're gonna get, you can just attack in whatever creature doesn't get blocked. You can just Raking Claws and just maybe kill your opponent that way. So that's pretty sweet. Robber the Witch is another way for us to kind of be aggressive. 2/2 reach and haste, and then a little card advantage. If your opponent has more cards than you in their hand, then you can exile the top card of the library, and anytime you attack with a rogue, we can cast that card using mana of any type to cast. Scorching Dragonfire, just a nice evasion removal spell, 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker, and it goes to exile instead. Unleash Fury, kind of the same thing as the Raking Claws. However, there's a new card from M21, where instead of the double strike, you just double the power of creature until end of turn. So in some ways this is a little bit better, in some ways Raking Claws is better. They're both pretty interesting cards, and at the end of the day have a pretty similar effect. Lightning Stormkin, super sweet, aggressive threat, 2/2 flying haste for 2 mana. Sprite Dragon, flying haste for 1/1 for 2 mana. However, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Sprite Dragon. So this is just an amazing card. Love it. Brazen Borrower is fantastic. We'll be able to return the non-land permanent opponent controls to its owner's hand for 2 mana, and then flash in as a 3/1 flyer that can only block creatures worth flying. So I don't really care too much about that. We just want to be the aggressive one, have a 3/1 flyer, tempo our opponent out for 2 mana, then cast it down as a 3/1 flyer, and just kind of hope close out the games that way. We have a nice little Air Force here with a Stormkin, Sprite Dragon, and Brazen Borrower. We also have the Mistral Singer. This is another card from M21 that we got, flying Prowess 2/2 for 3. So it's pretty vanilla, but in Singleton format, definitely worth taking a look at. So it should be pretty solid for us here. Bonecrusher Giant, nice, similar to the Brazen Borrower. It's got the adventure side that's really fantastic, and it's got the creature side that's fantastic as well. So just kind of easy inclusion here. Stomp, doing 2 damage to any target that can't be prevented, and then just having it down as a 4/3 creature as well. When it becomes a target, that creature's controller takes a whenever Bonecrusher Giant becomes targeted, that player takes 2 damage basically. Destructive Tampering, it's kind of a little cheeky one of 3 mana sorcery speed, a new card from M21. We have a similar card, or yeah, some similar effects like this already in Standard, but there's like I think it's like a 4 mana effect. Can't remember what it's called, but actually you destroy a land and then creatures without flying can't block this turn, so it's kind of weird in that regard. This is only 3 mana, but then you get to either destroy an artifact or creatures without flying can't block this turn. So yeah, if your opponent doesn't have any flying creatures, then they just can't block, and this triggers your prowess, and you can just get through for a bunch of damage. You don't have to worry about dealing with your opponent's creatures. Flame Spill is nice, kind of removal spell. 3 mana instant speed to deal 4 damage to your creature, and then excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. So this could be pretty fantastic in a lot of situations. Phoenix of Ash, since we're filling up our graveyard pretty quickly, this is really great. And it's another way for us to be aggressive. 2/2 flying haste. You can pay 3 mana into it, go +2/+0 on the final turn, which is pretty solid. And you can escape it for 4 and exile 3 other cards, which isn't too bad. And have it escape with a +1/+1 counter on it. So Phoenix of Ash, just a nice, resilient, aggressive threat. Soul Seer, another new M21 card, dealing 5 damage to a creature or planeswalker, and that permanent loses indestructible on the turn. Just fantastic, fantastic removal spell. Spelleater Wolverine, it's kind of underrated card, 3/2 for 3 mana, and it has double strike as long as there are 3 or more instant and or sorcery cards in your graveyard. So not super, super amazing. It's pretty borderline standard playable, but definitely in any kind of like a brawl or singleton type format, it's definitely worth taking a look at in the right build. And obviously we're running tons of instants and sorceries. Royal Sounds works amazing in the style list as well. Wee Dragonauts is another personal favorite of mine. It's hard to play this in Standard because it just seems like it's a magnet for removal, and it's it's a 3 mana play. There's tons and tons of upside on this, being able to get +2/+0 every time you cast an instant or sorcery spell, and flying, so it's a nice evasive body. But yeah, in a Singleton format, it should work just fine. Stormwing Entity, it's one that I included in my Izzet Prowess list as well. Kind of talked about a little bit there. So it's a 3 mana or 5 mana 3/3 flying prowess. However, it costs 3 less to cast if you cast instant or sorcery spell this turn. So you're still going to need like 3 to 4 mana to actually get a reduction to get this online anyways. So it's not super amazing value as much as you want it to be. However, it does have the prowess, flying, and of course when it enters you scry too. So it's still a really, really reasonable option, and it's amazing. Amazing card in the Singleton format as well. So going over our mana base here, trying to keep it as simple as possible with as few tap lands as we can get away with. We do have the opt and things like that, efficient card draw, scrying, so hopefully that can kind of fix our mana for us. So we're going to have to be really careful with what hands we keep. So 9 Island, 9 Mountain, 1 Steam Vent, 1 Swiftwater Cliffs, 1 Temple of Epiphany, and the 1 Fabled Passage. So just trying to keep it really simple with the mana base, having as many untapped lands as possible so we can be as aggressive and play things without having to worry about tap lands as much as we can. So we are going to have to be careful we don't get screwed on a particular color. So it's only a little bit of downside there. Because the Singleton format, we can still only just use one of the non-basic lands. So yeah, we'll jump into some best of one and see how we do. Okay, against Ugin the Great Dragon. Okay. Oh boy. This is the issue with not having access to playsets of like Steam Vents or Temple of Epiphany. But we do have Spectral Sailor into Riddleform, and we have the Unsummon to kind of buy us some time. So if we can just kind of stall out a couple turns to find a red source, then we'll be fine. Okay, so that looks like they're on Izzet as well. So thank you, Matchmaker, for pitching us against another Izzet in the list. So we'll see if this gets shocked. Oh, beautiful. Algorithm loves us today. Alright, Riddleform it is. And yeah, we're in a good spot. So don't need the tampering anytime soon. There's a Lava Coil. That's a pretty nasty opponent. Well, we'll just drop our Mistral Singer and try to get through next turn. Nothing else we can shock their face. Not sure what they're doing. They haven't played any creatures yet. I guess they're more on it's like a Niv Mizzet, Raoul. Okay, a turn 4 League Guild Mage. That's a curious inclusion. I think we need to draw here, so we'll just go with the Fire Prophecy and discard the. Take that action. Put the Tampering down. Another blue source. That's not what we want to see. We need some red. I don't think we need to unsummon here, so we'll have to save that for next turn. Hopefully our opponent plays a creature. Chemisters. Yeah, really not sure what our opponent's up to. There's another red source. So they don't have anything going, so we'll just shock so we can get this Riddleform online and just push damage. Yep. Alright, they just have 1 mana open, so it could be Unsummon or something, but yeah, they're not showing us anything like that so far. Alright, so we do have Niv Mizzet territory. I think we want to unsummon that. I think I want to keep our creatures alive since we're just holding up a removal spell. This does hit... Soulseer does hit Niv Mizzet. It's a 5/5, right? Okay, so no Scry for you. Crackling Drake. Let's see. If we draw a land, we can Singer plus Soulseer. Let's just Scry. We got 3 mana open. Let's Scry. Yeah, we'll take a land. We'll take that land. So we hit them for 3. And get their Drake off the board. We'll take that action. I think we 6 mana. I think we upkeep Scry before we draw with the Riddleform, and so we already used our shock. That's the downside of being in a Singleton environment. Okay, Murmuring Mystic. So they just kept a really sketchy hand apparently. Radical Idea. So they got a 1/1 bird that can stall us out. That's annoying. That's annoying. Well, let's Scry. I mean, Burning Prophet's okay. I think we just need either something with haste or another way to... Yeah, that's another threat. So I think we'll just keep upkeep scrying. Chemisters. Man, this is super frustrating. They're at 2 life. We're so close. But now they're putting all these 1/1 bodies in front of us. Excuse me. There we go. Alright, just what we needed. Ooh. No decline. Yeah, it's kind of the issue with these aggro decks. Sometimes you just run out of steam. We don't have a ton of card draws. That's a little bit of a downside. But, you know, we do have some nice scry effects, so we kind of make up for it in that regard. Okay, up against Kaleo. This is a pretty solid hand. We're missing double blue for the Borrower, but we'd have double red for the Phoenix. So awkward that these are all like basically 3-drops, but yeah, we're definitely not going to say no. Haunted Witness. Okay, that's a little bit annoying. We'll just opt on their turn. Why not? Let's see what they do. We'll see what they do before we start making our decisions. Oh, hit us for 1, no problem. So the Dawn of Hope is pretty annoying. We can bounce it. We have 2 red sources. I'd rather find another blue source or a spell. We can Lava Coil that. That seems pretty reasonable. We have lots of things we can do on 3. Do we want a Lava Coil that Hunted Witness? I think I just want to get Terramander down. It's not very efficient. There's still ways from activating the Dawn of Hope to make 1/1 tokens. If they have removal for our Terramander, I guess that's better than these ones. And if they want to hit us for 1, that's fine. Well, I can give him a 1/1 lifelinker. And stuck on 2 lands, opponent says go. I think we just swing 1, play the Dragonauts, and hold up Phoenix for next turn. That means stuck on 2 lands is pretty favorable for us, not being able to get these 1/1 tokens. We can also Brazen Petty Theft, I should say, the Dawn of Hope at some point. But if they're just going to be stuck on lands, that's fine. We're not going to give them the lifelink. We'll just let them attack for 1. There's another land. Perfect. So now we can Phoenix. We don't have Negate, but we do have the Stern Dismissal open. Yeah, we'll fire that off to trigger the Dragonauts. And swing for a bunch. See if our opponent concedes. Nope. Could have a there's some 2-mana instant speed removal spells here. Gideon's Sacrifice or whatever, Triumph, or Divine Arrow. There's a couple cheeky instant speed removal spells. Stormwing, that's pretty good. We can Petty Theft plus Stormwing. That feels pretty good. We can Petty Theft plus Negate. We can get rid of that 1/1, but they're stuck on 2 lands, so I think we just do that just to get the Stormwing online. I'm just looking for spells here. Riddleform is nice, but I think it's a little bit late at this point, so we'll just scry those away. We have 4 lands, we don't need too much more than that. I'd rather just find another spell to kind of trigger our Prowess. I mean, we do have the Lava Coil. Being 4 life, that's pretty annoying, but I don't think that saves you. Yeah, hit me for 1, no problem. I think they're pretty much dead here. So 4, 6. So we'll do this just to trigger Prowess. Swing, not quite dead, down to 2. So now we have the protection spell and we have the Brazen Borrower. So I think our opponent is pretty firmly dead. Yep. Alright, so unfortunately stuck on 2 lands. But yep, they're able to take advantage of a life gain deck. Okay, up against Paradil. All the 2-drops. Alright, against a 250 card pile of nonsense. Alright, do we lead with the Prophets to start scrying? Thieves Guild Enforcer. Vampire. So Riddleform is going to be pretty good here. I guess we just go Singer, then next turn Arcanist Riddleform. This is one of those situations where the algorithm just says go screw yourself, and you know, you're playing 250 cards, but I'm going to give you everything you need, and you're going to get screwed on your draws. I think that happens a good amount of the time. Yeah, we're not going to block. Life gain's pretty annoying, but we can certainly go off. We can certainly go off. I'd love to play the Dragonauts, but I think we just go Riddleform into Arcanist, and then next turn we have Dragonauts plus Negate. They have another removal spell. They're in mono black, so I'm sure they're packing plenty of removal, or you know, who knows what they're running. Okay, eliminate. So no spells for the Arcanist yet. flooding out pretty hard here. Well, we'll play the Dragonauts and say go. So yeah, nothing we can get back with the Arcanist yet. Zero instants or sorceries. We have a Negate, which we can play on their turn, unless they want to be cheeky and try to kill something on our combat. Swing all, sure. Want to have like a Ritual of Soot, or they're just feeling aggressive here. Royal Silence, pretty good. We'll do that. Take action. They have 3 mana open, so they probably have a removal spell. Our opponent's impressed. Guess the Dragonauts don't want to discard Negate. If they want to swing 3 at Royal Silence, that works for me. I'll buy us some time. No, we'll just hold up and Negate. And if they do nothing, then we have Scry on Riddleform. Okay, they have a 3/3 Death Toucher. So looking like they're just mono black. Send a Royal Silence, sure, buys us some time. Yeah, they're tapped out, so yeah, pretty safe to scry here. Land. You could plus the Scions, but it doesn't seem worth it. Swing 3. So again, we have the Scry, we also have the Negate. So they can kill our Royal Scions here. I mean, Arcanist doesn't really do anything, so I think we just block the Hierophant just to keep our Scions alive. And if they do nothing, I think we just Scry. Otherwise, just hold up and Negate. So Royal Scions definitely bought us some time here. It already has Death Touch, but okay. Anything else? Yeah, they're looking at our 2 creatures to kill something. Nope. Oh, Robber's not bad.
You will not block our noble path.
Was that a land? Just a land. Oh, they're down to 7. They can kill our Scions, which sucks. I'm just kind of hoping we find something good off the top. We've been pretty unfortunate with not finding any spells. Obviously they milled the Bonecrusher Giant. The Stomp would have been nice. But it is what it is. You're sending 3 power at the 2 Loyalty Planeswalker. Looks like our opponent's not very good at math. That's alright, math is hard, you know. They're leaving their 1/1 back to block. Why not go 3 faced and 2 here? I have no idea what they're up to. We have 0 cards in hand, so sure. Pretty much any spell at the top, and we should be able to close this out. Triggering Riddleform and Dragonauts. That is a nice card, but we do need a spell here. We'll go to you. Trigger, trigger, trigger. See if it's enough. Lava Coil means they don't gain the life because it goes to exile instead. Yeah, we'll take that action. So representing 9 damage right now. I think we're a little bit off of adapting. We're saying good game. So we do get the trigger. Wow, they're gonna draw a card and go down to 5. Well, let's see what we draw. Oh, decline. We already did that. Keep safe. Cool. Alright. So yeah, that was a Singleton and just regular standard play queue, so that felt pretty good. Definitely run this with confidence in the FNM event, and definitely get your rewards easily, have a lot of fun. There's lots of interesting lines of play with the style deck, especially being Singleton, but we do have some nice scry and card filtering if you don't have a ton of card draw. I think we have just enough to make it relevant. You know, we're not trying to draw a million cards, get to the late game. We just want to kind of be aggressive and close things out. So yeah, it's a nice fun little deck, and yeah, definitely if you guys run it, let me know how it does for you. Otherwise, until next time, jank with a purpose.